Caner Universe! It's the last Caner Tip Tuesday of 2019, and I want to thank you for being loyal subscribers to American Cane Self-Defense on behalf of my staff and I. Thank you so much always for the opportunity to serve. It's been a fantastic year. This will be a different segment in the sense that we're closing out on 2019, but I feel it's the most important post and tips that I can share with you today because it sets up your success in your cane training for 2020. And first of all, if you're not receiving Caner Tip Tuesday in your email, simply text to 305 745 7839. Text your name and email address and put the code A as in apple, C as in cat, S as in Sam, D as in dog, ACSD. And we will go ahead and add you to the base, and you'll start receiving Caner Tip Tuesday in your inbox. So, several topics that I want to cover here as we're moving towards 2020, and what are the things that you can be focusing on and carving out a plan and a strategy so that 2020 is the year that you take your cane training and you achieve some goals and you actually cross that finish line. Our audience is wide and varied, and people are here for a variety of reasons, and we'll go over some of those. And straight off the bat, if you're new to American Cane Self-Defense, one of the first questions that we get is, am I quote-unquote a good fit for the cane and American Cane Self-Defense? And the reasons you might be wondering that is we get everything from, am I too old? I have injuries, I have physical challenges, and so on and so forth, and who is this for? And straight up, the answer is that you are not too old. If I had to put a number on the average age of our audience there, it's certainly 50 and beyond. Okay, and so does that mean we don't have practitioners before that? No, if you're picking up the cane in your 20s and your 30s, or even earlier than that, and you're going to have a huge head start later in life. But the reason that you're never too old for this is because, number one, there's an emphasis, first of all, on safety. Safety is always first. We can always, the word is circumvent or work around physical limitations, injuries, so on and so forth. So as long as you have medical clearance. So we're not in the business of telling you that you're cleared. That is your personal physician. The third reason is because there is a structured step-by-step program with American Cane Self-Defense where we literally can take you by the hand throughout your training. And lastly, the reason that you really want to consider this, regardless of where you may be and whatever your condition is physically, is because criminals simply don't care. They don't care that you're injured. They don't care that you have limitations, so on and so forth. So I want to be clear. This is a place where the culture is about believing in something that is very real and tangible. Belonging. So you belong here. You definitely will belong, and it has a very strong sense of community and a social component to it, and you will achieve. So you're going to belong, believe, and achieve. That's our formula here. And so what are some of the goals moving forward that you can be focusing on? Now, everybody in 2020, everything from New Year's resolutions, personal ones, I want to lose weight, I want to get in better shape, I want to further my business, I want to be able to retire this year, wherever you are in life. This is a component that you can also sit there and say, I want to hit an XYZ goal with the cane this year. And what are some of the areas? Well, obviously a good portion of the people come to us for self-defense, and I mean, if I'm not going to harbor here on why we consider this to be the #1 tool of empowerment for today's world, and certainly that's one of the reasons why, is the advantages for self-defense. And if you're not familiar with that, I encourage you to look at other segments. But certainly people come in for self-defense. People come in for fitness, and you'll see that some of the caners that are affiliated with our method, people lose weight, and they do so it's in a very enjoyable fashion. Is one of the things that I always point out. One thing is to have to get on a treadmill, get on an exercise bike, do put it. Those things are fine, but to be able to do it based on the fact that you're learning a new skill in the process. The focus is not so much of, oh, I have to do the exercise. The focus is on, I want to get this new skill down. And in doing so and being consistent with it and having accountability, which I'll talk about in a minute, that goes a long, long way. And in the process, there's other things that need to happen there, including most likely, for instance, for weight loss, food modification, things that we talk about, and that some of our members, we give them access to that information. Then when you have those components in place, you'll see that you start hitting goals. We have caners who have dropped over 100 pounds over the years, and you may have seen some of the interviews and so on and so forth, but that's certainly one of the reasons that people come in. The other one is you may want to take your skill sets in the area of combat cane spinning, and combat cane spinning is probably, it is the fastest growing of the segments in American cane self-defense. So you have the self-defense, but as I often point out, self-defense is a no-brainer with this tool. Okay, this isn't rocket science. The challenge there, and the progressive challenge moving forward, is the maneuverability of the cane. And people are attracted to it for several reasons, and I'll be totally upfront that fun and the cool factor of it never gets old. So you have our population in their 60s and 70s that use both cool and fun are very much a part of it. There's a strong sense of community. And as I've demonstrated many times, yes, it does have a tremendous benefit, your ability to maneuver the cane, and because it's a neuromuscular exercise. It includes footwork, and footwork is what can get you, I always say, in and out of trouble. And so there's tremendous value in doing that. You may also want it because you want to increase your hand-eye coordination. It's brain food, it's brain training. We have a very keen interest as we move forward how to offset progressive decline in the brain mentally and so on and so forth, and what is being proven scientifically that the use of doing structured cane training the way that we teach it also enhances that. And so these are areas that you can sit there literally with a notebook, write it down. You can do it in your phone, you can do it however it is that you want, but write these things down. And I know that you say, oh my gosh, do I have to go through the trouble? Yes, I actually want you to take a sheet of paper and say, in 2020, I am going to lose XYZ pounds with the cane training. I'm going to do this. I am going to get certified as an instructor and introduce it in my community. So a good portion of you right now are training to introduce it in your communities, and you're going to be coming down to do training, and I'll jump into that in a minute. I want to be able to spin at this level, XYZ. I want to earn my instructor certification, or you're already advanced, you're an instructor and you want to hit that master level, or you're a master and you want to go to senior master level. So you cannot, we're never going to run out of material for you, because this is a lifetime of training, something that you have with you that enhances everything else that you do. And I harp on it again, it makes everything so much more enjoyable. So once you've written these things out and we bring clarity to why, your big why it is that we want to do these things. Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to become a self-defense instructor? What is it? Because not just for the sake of doing it, but how is your life better when you do these things? Your energy level is better, your focus is better, you're more productive, so on and so forth. All these things. Make sure you have clarity on this. I'm going to introduce this in my community. This is going to really benefit my fellow man, and I'm going to be able to empower others. And you may want to do it as well, because you're looking to get compensated for you, and so we show you and teach you how to do that. Once you're clear on what it is and why this is important to you, the third component then is, how are you going to reach that goal? Pay attention here. I don't want you to miss this, because this is the key. This is key. You need to have clarity on these issues. The one way to not do it is by patching and putting random things together, by watching YouTube and say, oh, I'm going to do it like this, I'm going to do it like that. Even if you're following me on American Cane Self-Defense, it's just not enough. It's not thorough. Number one, I consider it dangerous, and I'm going to be blunt about this like I normally am. There's a lot of material out there on YouTube right now that'll get you hurt, that is inaccurate, that is, you have a lot of individuals there that are improvising and sit there and say, well, let me see what creative thing I can come up with next with this tool, and what can I do? So that's number one. There's a lot of misinformation there, and if you don't know how to get it right down, narrow it down to where the source, the truth behind the training is, that's really important. So do not try to patch random things from different individuals. That's a popular way. Well, I think I'll just go to YouTube, and I'm not going to invest in anything, and well, you're going to get exactly what you put into that. So you heard it from me here today. That's not the way to do it. Today, you are not limited by demographics. The number one reason that people say I don't get cane trained is because I don't have an instructor. And this is true. This is true. It's not like you have a certified cane instructor on every corner. The culture is growing. The culture is growing. And in 2020, one of the things that you can expect is that you're going to have more certified instructors with the cane than ever. How are people doing it? There's different ways of doing it. Number one, the absolute best way to learn this tool, regardless of what your goal is a combination of live training, hands-on with professional supervision and instruction and care, number one, and video online. That combination, not live training by itself. If you listen to all the top names or top practitioners, instructors, they will all tell you that to get to that level that they're at, it would be virtually impossible to do it without video. Nowadays, virtually impossible, because there's a lot of little detail that video allows you to sit there and look over and over and over. That's number one. If you're training via video, at some point in your life, if possible, you're going to want to come in for live training. Now, you say, well, it's very impractical. Listen, everything has an associated investment to it. And again, you're going to get out of this what you put in. And if you want to be a certified instructor and serve at that level at some point, you're going to want in here. Or if you just want it for yourself and you want to be at your very best, you do that through an immersion training. That is an intense, focused training in the vicinity of 10 hours in small groups, to where you have your own dedicated instructor when you come down. And we have these events. Sometimes we have them out of necessity. We have them monthly, and we have the bigger ones. For instance, right now it's December 2019. The first one is February 6th, 7th, and 8th here in Miami. February 6th, 7th, and 8th. 2020, and it'll be half days. So it's very enjoyable. It's not like, you're here in sunny Florida, in Miami, and we do our training, and then you have the rest of the day to do whatever you like. There's so much that takes place there. Not just the physical, the hands-on training and picking up the details that you may have missed on video, and things that we share with you that are probably not on video because it's virtually impossible to get everything in there, and things that come up that we get to customize. But there's that sense of connection and a lot of conversations during the downtime when we're sharing a meal together that come up, and it's just bonding and connecting there. I can't emphasize that enough. please, 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 especially if you're thinking of getting certified and you are never too old to get certified and pass this invaluable information on to someone else, you need to make it a goal to attend in 2020 an immersion. And there's facilitated ways that we do that. So the number one way is immersion, and immersion already has tied in your online training. It automatically does, so we make that a no-brainer for you. The second way of doing it is with the remote Caner online training. It's private training. All you need is a phone or a computer. If you can see this, then you can participate. And let me just go over how it works, because that opens now on January 6th. We already did a beta test, and you can see the testimonials of the individuals that did this. We basically do what we call a pre-skill, where there's an evaluation sheet. We jump on the phone, we set up some goals. We see where you're at initially. Are you a beginner? Have you been training before? Maybe you're an instructor already. We're gonna ask for a series of skills. If you don't have any, then that's fine. We just take you from the onset. But it's customized, it's private training just for you. And once we see where you're at, every single week, we start laying out and sending you 2 to 3 video segments to focus on. Each video is about 2 to 3 minutes, sometimes shorter than that, on what it is that you need to correct. That's why they're called RCCs, Remote Caner Correctives. You get a sheet, a checklist to check these off, and every week we're in communication. And again, we're taking you by the hand. The end result of that is that you cannot differentiate when you see a remote caner, somebody who's never come down to the headquarters to train, versus the individuals that train live. There really is not a difference. You can say, oh, this guy's from here, this guy's no. And these people that are doing remote caner trainings at some point, and when we give you the details in there, they can come down. A lot of times it's already included where they can come down to an immersion. So it works like a charm. Got it? The third way of doing it, if for whatever reason you're not doing an immersion, you're not doing a remote caner private training, third way of doing it is just to go to the online portal. And the online portal gives you access to every course that we do. And think of it, it's a buffet. And there's structure in that buffet, because we guide you and we say, do this course first, do this course second. But essentially, you have access to the information, you're a disciplined individual, and you're going to do this. Now, do we have members? And the majority are on there and they have access to this information and they never cross the finish line? Of course. Why? Because you don't have the discipline, you don't have the accountability, which is huge. That's what you get with a remote caner private training, is the accountability. You have an individual on this side tugging on your shirt saying, hey, here it is every week, and we expect you to send these things in, and if you don't, then we want to, again, pull on your shirt and tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, you haven't sent this in, and we're waiting here, and of course, you've been invested in this, so with us, you crossed the finish line with that method. So those are the top 3 ways of hitting any goal moving into 2020. Number 1, immersion training. Immersion, a combination where you get the video with the immersion training, and you're gonna come here at some point and you're gonna do that. We're gonna refine everything, clean it up and add to it, refine it. Remote caner online training. A lot of people do both of those things. They're tied in. And then the very third way is, if you're a disciplined individual that can just do things on your own and you want to try it that way, then just go to the online portal. It's caneselfdefenseuniversity.com. Register there monthly, or you can do it yearly and save yourself some dollars, and you'll find that there's an immersion option there as well. Any one of those 3 options, you can reach out to us. 800-289-8188, and we will facilitate that for you. The other thing is, those of you that are new, caners love talking about canes. So where do I get started? What do I do as I'm moving? I'm just learning of this, and I'm moving into 2020, and I need to get myself a cane. Newsflash, you're never just going to own one cane. It's the same as the gun culture. Gun enthusiasts don't, and knife enthusiasts, and so on and so forth, and you're a collector. You don't just own one. So the culture has evolved, and in the industry, it is as involved and as diverse as the gun. So if you go to purchase a firearm, well, I want a firearm. Well, what do you want it for? Because there's so many different types. The same thing with the cane. In a nutshell, training canes, those that are designed for you to bang with, hit things with. They're thick, they're heavier, And yes, they can double over for self-defense, but they don't have certain features to give you things like a quick release response, so on and so forth. Straight off the bat, octagonal heavy. Look for it on the site or call us about it. Octagonal heavy for a training cane to develop your power, your speed, and your accuracy to hit things with. You want a street cane, the #1 self-defense tool, hands down, still our #1 seller. We sold out 3 times in December, continues to be the Rubina Raven. Got it? There's no aircraft grade aluminum. There's tremendous advantages to it. It's still our #1 tool. My preference, it's always nearby. Look at the chipping on this thing, because I've had it for over a decade, right? Love it. It's still there. There's a new generation of cane, which are the hybrid spinners. Ooh, this is the Black Knight, and it's super cool, and you can look it up. You have the Crimson Spinner XL. For those of you that are more experienced and have been training with heavier canes, you're gonna love this thing. You know, that it's what we describe. You're driving a Ferrari that hits like a Mack truck. So look at that. If you're into spinning, at some point you're going to want a spinner. And yes, every serious caner that I know at one point in their life, you're going to own a Raven. So that's why when you call in and you're trying to decide between a Raven and you're trying to decide between any other cane, whatever it is, to say, hey guys, what's the need now? Do this, because at some point you will invest. It's just the natural evolution of cane training. And so that's one of the topics, because everybody always wants to know, you know, how do I get started with the cane? And go slow, please. Again, avail yourself of the professional instruction. Some of the things that you can look forward to in 2020. Straight off the bat, more certified professional instructors. We've taken it upon ourselves to make this the case. So when you call in, you say, hey, I'm an XYZ, and are there any instructors here? And no, there aren't. Maybe you should start your own, everything from starting a group in your garage, in your own home. Maybe you have a training center already. Maybe you're going out and you're going to, the days of needing a brick and mortar location with all the expenses has gone by the wayside. I'm here to tell you that. There's no need to do that today. I can go ahead and train you personally, perfectly, from the comfort of my own home or anywhere where I'm traveling, and still be able to communicate with you like I'm doing now. The technology allows us to do that. What you need to do is connect and be a part of a step-by-step structured system that takes you by the hand, and that you always know what your next goal is. And the key is bite-sized pieces and accountability on our end. Okay, so that's it. I consider this to be, do this now as you're moving towards 2020. Write everything down, get clear on what it is you want to do, and then how do you reach out to us? Well, you can do it via email. It's probably the slowest way of doing it, but you can email us straight from the site. You can text. Our text number, text is 100% text support. Don't call that number, because we just communicate via text there. It's 305-745-7839, and you can send a text there. And then probably our favorite way of doing this is to simply, old school, pick up the phone. We still love talking and connecting with you. And again, my staff and I are always here to serve you. Nothing but the best for you in 2020. Big cane bump, not a fist bump. And please feel free to reach out. Have a phenomenal New Year's. Always stay safe. And let's make 2020 the year of our best caning. All right, go out there, have a great time, guys.